Hello everybody and welcome to the beautiful, beautiful hills of Judea. These are the Judean hills. This is the area of Gush Etzion. Oh my God. Now let me point out what today is. Today on the Jewish calendar is the 10th of Tevet. Right? Asara b'Tevet. That's the Hebrew. The 10th of Tevet. The 10th of Tevet is a day where Jews of the world are fasting. We're fasting as a sign of mourning. We're fasting as a sign for ourselves to remember the temple. To remember the temple that was destroyed. To remember the temple that we want to rebuild. The third temple. What are we fasting for? Today is the day that commemorates the siege of Jerusalem by King Nebuchadnezzar of Bavel. That in essence, it was the siege of Nebuchadnezzar of Bavel that brought about the destruction of the first temple built by Solomon, by King Solomon. And we're supposed to remember that. This is something that took place 2,000 plus years ago. 2,500 years ago. And Jews around the world today are supposed to remember that our temple was destroyed, that our holy city of Jerusalem was under siege by a foreign power, by the empire of the time, Bavel. 2,500 years ago it took place, and yet today we still fast. Yes, we fast because history is part of who we are. If you do not know your history, you do not know who you are today and where you are going. And therefore, history is so important to the Jewish people. And holding on to these historic events and remembering these historic events and commemorating these historic events are so critical to be a Jew. It is by fasting today, by Jews around the world fasting today, that we are supposed to remember the temple that we want to rebuild. We are supposed to remember the type of Jewish sovereignty in our homeland that we want to return. Not just for the benefit of the Jewish people, for the benefit of all of mankind. Because the temple, the rebuilt temple of the Jewish people is supposed to be a place where people of all nations and all believing people of all religions are welcome to then go up and pray. It is supposed to symbol the unity in the world around a belief in a God who created the world and who runs the world. That is what the significance of the temple represents. And that what is humanity is missing by the Jewish people not building the temple. But what saddens me is there's so many Jews, even though they're fasting today, or maybe they're not fasting today, but they are not thinking about the ultimate purpose of today's fast, which is to remember our temple, to remember that it was destroyed, to remember that we want to rebuild it. That is the point of the fast. Not just to not eat or drink all day long, not just to go through it and have an easy fast because it's a religious ritual. No, we are supposed to refrain from eating and drinking all day long to feel that something is missing, because that ultimate thing that is missing in our lives is not food or drink. It's our holy temple. And anyone who watches me knows I try to go up to the Temple Mount whenever I can to bring people close to the ultimate purpose of the Jewish people being home here in the land of Israel, to be there to help all of humanity, the whole freedom-loving world, which is the ultimate rebuilding of the temple, for there to be the third temple. So everyone, I want you to see these hills and mountains of the Judea. Jews are Judeans. That's why we are Jews. Jews are not white, we're not black, we're not yellow, we're not brown. We are Jews. We come from these hills and mountains. That is our race. We're Jews. Jews are not a religion. Religion is just one aspect of the Jewish nationhood. The three aspects that make Jews different is we have one, religious ritual, two, our own language, and three, a homeland. We are a nation. We're supposed to be here in this land. We're different from all other religions because we're not just a religion. We have religious rituals, but it's only one aspect. Jews are Jews. Not white, not black, not yellow, not brown. Jews are Jews from these hills, from the Judean hills. And it's here, on the outskirts of the Judean hills, where we have Jerusalem, where the temple once stood, where it stood twice, and where we are the generation to rebuild it, for the third temple to rebuild. And part of allowing it to be rebuilt is helping me share the truth about the awareness about what today is all about. That today's Jewish day in the calendar, the 10th of Tevet, Asara B'Tevet, is about remembering what we miss and to want it again. We are remembering the destruction of the temple by the king Nebuchadnezzar of Bavel 2,500 plus years ago, because we are sad about losing it and we want to rebuild it and bring it back again. So folks, help me share the truth. Help me allow Jews to connect. And if you're non-Jewish, also connect with the truth. The truth is the Jewish people are home here in the Judean hills, that we're called Judeans because we're from here. We're called Jews because we're from Judea. And if you're Jewish, be proud of your Jewish identity. Be proud to be a Jew. Be proud that you are connected to this unbelievable homeland. And you see all these hills behind me? There is plenty of room for all the Jews to return home. And plenty of room to live peacefully with Arabs who live here as well, that want to live peacefully. Don't let anyone tell you that we're stealing anyone's land. This is our land. It's the Judean hills. It's our land. It's the Jewish land. And there's plenty of room for Jews to come back and join and live here with us. So that's it, folks. I'm out of here, going back to do my IDF duty to protect the nation and to help the freedom-loving world be as safe as possible. And in the meantime, share, share, share. Thanks for watching, and shalom from the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people.